We've got 3 stories in this video. The starting time of each is written in the description.
Sit back and enjoy. Reddit listener.
Hearing outcomes minutes before they happen.
This has happened twice in my life now, and I cannot for the life of me explain it. I was sitting on my couch watching a Sunday night football game. The game was heading into the 4th quarter, and the home team was up by 14 points. During the commercial break on ESPN, Scott Van Pelt appeared behind his announcer desk and said, "And when we return, we will talk with Rodgers on his winning drive and 17-point comeback." I heard this clearly. I watched him say it. I thought to myself, why would SVP say he is going to interview Rodgers if the game isn't over? Better yet, why is he assuming they are going to win? I quickly texted my friends, who were also watching the game, and asked if they also thought it was weird that SVP announced that the Packers were going to win when the game wasn't over. Their replies were a combination of, "LOL, what, and what do you mean?" 4th quarter comes, the Packers end up scoring 2 touchdowns and kicking a FG to win. SVP interviewed Rodgers after the game, just like he said during the commercial break. I couldn't revisit this with my friends, given they had no idea what I was talking about initially. I brought it up to my wife later that night. She couldn't wrap her head around what I was trying to explain. I still cannot find an explanation for what happened. It's like I witnessed the moment before it occurred and was told the outcome. This has happened again recently during an NBA playoff game, this time it included the final score. It happens so randomly. I compare it to déjà vu, but I'm fully awake. Any similar experiences?
Let's go through some of the comments.
Sorry for my English, I'm just starting to learn it. I had something similar. 2 weeks ago I was standing in line at the store, and there were 2 people standing at the turning point, and suddenly the thought came to me that they would say, "Bro, I'm tired after training. And this line is endless." Another person, "Yes, this is terrible." And after 20 seconds they said it in reality. I still don't know how to explain it. Future you wanting you to place a bet.
If only it would occur more frequently.
Victor Goddard was an air marshal who predicted World War II because of the same thing.
A couple of games ago, 60 female was watching a game, and before a commercial break, 3rd quarter, they showed the score, and while I was looking at the score, I saw an overlay of a different score. The overlay was the final score. I posted my experience on Glitch in the Matrix, and some of the comments were saying I was hallucinating. Shaking my head. I wasn't hallucinating. I know what I saw.
Next time, just text yourself what you heard so you have a timestamp.
Something always falls off my wall between 11:55 p.m. to 12 a.m. But there's a catch.
I just moved to a condo. It's large space that has been cozy these last 3 months, except for one thing. Something always falls off my wall between 11:55 p.m. to 12 a.m., but there's a twist, which I'd call the glitch in the glitch. That will be towards the end. And guys and gals, I swear to you this is a true story. Every single night between those times something falls off my wall. Just a little lore, I work odd hours. When I get my me time it is typically from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. I tuck the kids in, refill the dog's water bowl, kiss my wife good night, and finally get to read from my book collection. Fantasy nerds, where you at? Now this is where it only gets slightly weird. My daughter has some special needs that we actually don't understand fully yet. She's seeing doctors, and bless her beautiful heart, but she needs a calendar. And it's her damn calendar, so she decides how to mount it. And she chose duct tape. I'm a proud dad. She mounts it a little low, right by the doorway to the kitchen. Anyway, as you read the title, you can probably guess what I'm about to say. You'd be correct if your guess was that it falls off every night between 11:55 p.m. to 12 a.m. Okay, could be a scientific explanation. The new strip of duct tape loses its adhesive consistently through the day, then finally tears free. Logical, so I used a 1-inch nail. This is where it gets weirder because it fell off again. When I heard that noise, my heart thundered in my chest, because for the love of God I nailed the calendar into the wall. I inspected it, the paper freaking ripped through the nail. So, even weirder now, I taped it and nailed it. It didn't fall off that next night, but something else did. A drawing on the fridge, one of my kids, and guys, those drawings have never fallen off before. It only happened when I taped and nailed the calendar. It kept happening for about 2 weeks. Then the calendar started falling off again, and the drawings on the fridge stopped falling. Upon inspection of the calendar, the tape came off and the nail again ripped free from the new hole on the calendar itself. At this point, I have assumed the universe is playing a joke on me. Also, I'm absolutely terrified. I have since let the calendar fall because I swear to God I'm too scared to see what else will happen if I send 20 nails into that damn calendar and then remove all the drawings. So, we're almost done with this story, but don't sharpen your bayonets yet, cadets. Because this last part I tell is the real glitch in the Matrix. My wife works very early hours. I sometimes work at night where I don't witness the falling objects. One day, I told her paramountly to remember to check for anything that has fallen off the fridge or the calendar. And guys, it brings tears to my eyes to say nothing falls when I am at work. This concludes my glitch. I will say this again to anyone who may want me to take this further. I'm letting the calendar fall still. It actually happened 13 minutes ago as I write this. I'm afraid of what would happen if I took everything away that can fall.
Readers in the comments offered various suggestions to OP. Some recommended using a camera to capture the moment the calendar falls, while others wondered if there might be subtle environmental factors like vibrations or air pressure causing it. A few even suggested that OP talk to his daughter more about the calendar, as she might unknowingly have some insight. Other commenters speculated that it could be a paranormal event or part of a glitch in reality itself. After the original post, OP gave several updates. On day 1, while talking with his daughter, the calendar fell right in front of him without anyone touching it. On day 2, he noticed that the calendar didn't fall for over 30 hours, even though it was only held up by old duct tape. This was a change from the usual pattern. By day 3, the calendar still hadn't fallen, despite OP being away at work. He believed answers would come on day 4. That evening, OP asked his wife if the calendar had fallen, and she said no, it was still on the wall. However, when he got home just after midnight, the calendar was on the ground. At this point, we still don't have a final conclusion to the mystery. What do you think? Do you have a similar experience? Leave a comment.
Time traveler. Maybe.
I was sitting on my bed taking off my shoes getting ready for bed, when I felt static electricity around me, like when you would turn on an old tube television. I felt compelled to look over my right shoulder, and I witnessed a young woman standing in what looked like an all-white booth behind glass. She was in her 20s, chocolate-colored skin, and was wearing a white top and a denim miniskirt. She waved at me as if to say, "Can you see me?" Then she and the booth disappeared. Fast forward exactly 1 week, the same time of night, I was sitting on my bed, and she appeared again, same booth and same clothes. She waved again and I said, "I see you." She disappeared and I've never seen her again.
Let's check a few comments.
How long ago was this? Did her hair, makeup, and clothing appear to be from a specific time period?
I was a teen in the 80s, and her clothes and hair reminded me of that. Fashions seem to repeat themselves sooner or later.
I believe you. Sounds like a time traveler to me. Perhaps a future relative, or someone hoping to encourage you.
That was my thought too. Maybe a relative who hasn't been born yet.
You say at the end it never happened again, but it could, if the other 2 times were spaced about a week apart. Now, how long ago did this happen?
Several years ago.
Still, you might see her again. Can you tell me what her hair color and texture was, please?
Her hair was very dark brown, maybe even black. She had afro hair that could have been blown out or straightened. It was shoulder length and out, not tied back or up.
Thank you for confirming. I have seen her too. Also twice.
Tell me more. What were the circumstances?
It's difficult to explain, but you shared your story, so I'll share mine. The first time I was looking out of my window, I had a very important decision on my mind. Busy London street, suddenly everything went still, quiet. Then, the same feeling you described, and she was walking down the street. Like she was the only thing moving in the world. After she turned the corner, all went back to normal. Seeing her, in that strange experience, caused me to make a different and better decision, for some reason. Next time, some years later, I was on a bus in London. It was stuck in traffic, and again, I was just watching the street. Then, the same exact experience as I described. Same weird feeling, and there she was, like she was the only person moving, seemingly. But, it's hazy now. Both times I saw her, my life changed shortly after. Even stranger, without me ever telling him, my son had the same experience seeing her on the street, just this year. So when I saw your post, I knew it was the same girl.